Hey everyone, I see you guys are popping on, which is awesome. So we're gonna get started in just a moment. We'll give people more of a chance to get access. And in the meantime, I'd love for those of you who are on to let us know where you're checking in from today. I'm actually in New Jersey, in Jersey City, right outside of New York City. But I know you guys are from all over, so I would love to see your locations. Pittsburgh. Oh, we have another New York City person here. Florida, Texas. Love it. I love seeing people from all over the country. Some California people.
Oh, look, in Astoria, New York. That's where I lived for a long time, for 7 years.
South Africa.
Wow, Cape Town.
I had a client in South Africa last year. Hey, that's not far. New Hampshire. So as we're going through the presentation, I recommend that any questions that pop up for you, that you use the Q&A box so you don't forget them later. Because I know that happens to me. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm going to ask this, at the end when we go through the questions, and then I totally forget it. So feel free to either like write it down so you could submit it towards the end, or definitely, just pop it in the box and we'll be answering them all at the end anyways. And we do have Stephanie here monitoring the chat. So anybody who, has trouble or has, any questions or tech issues or something can't hear, just let us know in the chat box too, so we can just keep an eye on it, as technology is lovely. All right, so we will get started. And there is going to be a recording too. So, if you have to pop off towards the end or anything like that, definitely make sure you check out the recording so you guys don't miss anything. All right, so let's get started. I'm just gonna minimize the chat so I don't get distracted. Okay, so today we're covering 3 strategies to increase productivity and business growth. And I am really excited to be covering this topic because 2020, let's be honest, has been a bit of a mess. And I think especially for us as small business owners and for all of you with health and wellness businesses, I'm sure so many of you, and feel free to let us know in the chat, did you have in-person businesses that you had to kind of suddenly pivot and go online? Were you already online and did you have to pivot your programs from individual to group programs to kind of just give people more options? But 2020 has definitely caused all of us to kind of adjust and readjust our businesses. So if you have had to do that, you're not the only one. I just want to reassure you that, my clients are in health and wellness businesses, are doing things just like you, dietitians, health coaches, baby sleep consultant, naturopaths, things like that. And just like you, they're pivoting to, they're adjusting their businesses so that they can stay on top of things and just continue their growth and support more people during this stressful time. But for a lot of us, it's been hard to be productive at different times. I know myself, I was just saying this before we started, that there are some days where I just don't have focus. And we're going to go over some of the strategies today that help you to increase productivity again and get back on track so that you could still have business growth during this time. And these strategies, have been tested by hundreds of my clients over the years. And, they have really helped my clients recenter during this time and stay on track. Let me introduce myself so you know who the heck I am. I'm Nicole Liloia, and I am actually a licensed clinical social worker. I started my therapy business quite a few years ago, a counseling practice, local counseling practice in person. This was before, online was really a big thing. And I quickly realized I didn't want to get burnt out with one-to-one clients. So I added in multiple income streams. I tried a bunch of them, a book, courses, group programs, affiliate income, tons of them, right? And I realized that I love them because they really brought security and to my business and security with income, because it meant I didn't have to constantly be selling one-to-one client spots and filling one-to-one client spots. I got my master's in social work, so I feel like I am, I was definitely trained to be a problem solver. And through the years as I did that, I got a lot of clients, other business owners, health and wellness professionals, just being a therapist who wanted to do the same thing. So eventually I created business strategy programs. And right now I focus on helping entrepreneurs, basically solopreneurs, create multiple income streams and build a bigger business with consistent income, because that's what we really do want. We want consistent income. So today what we're going to cover is identifying and overcoming self-sabotages to help you increase productivity and build a bigger business, how to set clear goals, and how to use a structured schedule to save time. And then we're going to finish up with the RSO system, which is a system I devised to help my clients free up their time while still increasing their income. So this helps you increase business growth without overworking yourself. And I think right now we don't have a lot of energy with everything that's been going on. Our time, if you have kids who are now home all the time, who have been home for months, your energy is going to them more and supporting them through everything. And even, spending more time, having to spend obviously more time with them, where maybe they were going to daycare or schools before. So I get that your time is limited. So this is not about adding more to your plate. This is about just making sure that you can still continue to grow, still maintain your income, and even increase it during the stressful time and feel better. So once again, at the end, we're going to have time saved for Q&A, but anytime during this presentation, feel free to use the question box to submit your questions. And once again, if you have to leave early, we will be sending the replay afterwards. Okay, so if you're here today, you're in the right place, right? If you've been struggling with your focus and you're ready to get it back on track. You're an ambitious entrepreneur who is ready to up-level your business. You're ready to get your business unstuck and help it grow faster. You're just looking for ways to save time in your business, and you've been looking for more ways to be consistent now with your business, that you're working from home more. Once again, I got thrown off by this whole thing, and the stress of it caused me to be inconsistent. So I've even, I've adjusted back to getting things done by using the same strategies that we're covering today. In this first one, we're going to be identifying and overcoming self-sabotages to help you increase your productivity and build a bigger business. And we're going to first cover the 4 self-sabotages that I have found, like I said, through my work with hundreds of entrepreneurs, that really affect you from being more productive, which affect you from hitting your goals, and which causes, you a lot of stress and anxiety. And the 4 sabotages that are affecting your business growth and productivity that we're going to cover today are procrastination, shiny object syndrome, imposter syndrome, and rethink. Okay. And here's the deal. I'm talking about self-sabotages and sabotages, but I don't want you to in any way feel judged or anything like that. This is just things that have been triggered as a result of the pandemic and the quarantine and the trauma that we've been going through, which, I'm in the New York, New Jersey area. I think, it kind of hit us more severely first. It's spreading through the country now, through some of the areas where you guys are in, from what I saw when you guys were submitting your locations. So, I mean, maybe even these sabotages weren't affecting you in the beginning of this, but they're coming up more now. So let's cover procrastination, right? I think that honestly, when has this not affected someone? But I know that this is one that has definitely increased with what's going on. Procrastination is just when you're constantly putting things off, right? And one of the ways that we procrastinate is by finding other business tasks to work on first instead of your top priority. So if your, caseload, if your clients decreased over this time, one of the business tasks you need to work on is sales again, right? And marketing and booking consults and letting people, checking in with referral sources and things like that. And I know that I've seen a lot of business owners putting that off, right? And sort of working on things that are not top priority and just getting stuck with busy work, doing things that, seem helpful, like maybe tweaking your website again or something like that. But one are more passive actions and not active actions, right? And not going to move you closer to your goal. And it's just because of the overwhelm and the energy that is required for some of the tasks, the more important tasks, right? The other way procrastination shows up is through perfection. Who here has, stopped progressing in their business because they got stuck in a certain area? So once again, I keep mentioning the website because this is a huge one for people. Like, you keep tweaking your website in the hopes that more people are just going to kind of come through your website and sort of fall into your lap. Once again, rather than kind of putting yourself out there, building referrals, networking, things like that. Maybe you're, tweaking your freebie instead of just getting it out there and opting in people to your mailing list and getting that bigger community that you could be selling. You just kind of maybe are stuck on even freebie ideas, or maybe you were wanting to do a webinar, but again, you're like fixing the landing page so many times, or just, stuck on the topic for it. So that's an example of waiting for everything to be perfect. The other thing is keeping a massive to-do list that overwhelms you. And this is where you just keep adding things to the list. And every day you wake up and you look at that list and you don't know where to even start. So you end up doing nothing, right? And the most important tasks move from list to list. And maybe you get through some of the smaller stuff, but you just kind of, once again, keep adding things to that list. It keeps getting longer and there's no way to overcome it. And like I said, procrastination is my big self-sabotage, and it came up in a huge way for me when this started. Like, I just kind of zoned out. I binged on Netflix. I said it was self-care, but truthfully, it wasn't self-care. It can be self-care sometimes, and it wasn't self-care. It was causing me to get more overwhelmed, if anything. Then shiny object syndrome, right? That's when you are thinking like, I want to find a magic bullet. So rather than focusing on one strategy and maybe even using a strategy that works for you in the past, I saw that, some of my clients freaked out, right? And they wanted a magic bullet. Like, they felt like what they were doing wasn't working, and it wasn't really that it wasn't working. It's just that, the situation changed. There was stress on everybody everywhere, and they kind of went into panic mode and felt that they needed to change things rather than kind of just doubling down on what was already working. And a lot of times when you're looking for that magic bullet, maybe it's like a new course or something like that. Or again, maybe you're like, I'll do social media, I'll add Instagram into the mix, I'll do my Facebook page, I'll write blogs, and you jump from thing to thing rather than kind of just really focusing in on one strategy. Then there is, let me try something new. This isn't working, right? And again, that is jumping from strategy to strategy and doing things that you've never done before. So that way it's even more work. Like I said, if you've already been using Instagram and it's bringing you in a couple clients, engagement, list growth, once again, increase your usage of that, engage more on that platform. Don't feel like you suddenly need to do, write a million blogs. And that's when you look at what everyone else is doing, okay? And you're like, oh my God, why are things working for them that aren't working for me? And you try to kind of piece together what they're doing, and you get distracted by it. And this has happened to one of my clients, where she just didn't really stick with anything before we started working together. And she really wore herself out. And when she really narrowed down to a couple of things like speaking, going to in-person events, and doing the things that were really her strength, her business doubled. So this is a really good way to assess if you're trying too many things. Then there is imposter syndrome. And this is where you feel everybody is better than you, so you don't put yourself out there. You really do get stuck in looking at what other people are doing, scrolling through Facebook, looking at your peers' Instagrams, kind of who's like online stalked people. Has anyone ever done that before? I know I have, especially in the beginning when I started my business. I really did online stalk people that were doing things similar to me. And instead of doing my own work, again, I could lose hours to that. And then there's the belief that I need to learn more. And again, this is a big one for professionals like you who are so smart, and you're experts in your area, but you fall back into believing like you need another certificate, you need another training, you're not qualified enough, right? And that's where we start to believe I'm not smart enough, I'm not professional enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not liked enough, right? And it makes us really hide. It holds us back from being visible, which means our potential clients can't find us. And I think, again, this comes up a lot with the situation that was going on, because this is a new situation to everybody. We're all adjusting, but it really made us feel like, I don't know how to support my clients through this. I don't know how to run my business through this. What's going to happen? I've never been through something like this before. And now we're going to talk about rethink, which is actually a self-sabotage that I personally identified by working with my clients. And, working with a lot of women business owners who have a history of trauma, anxiety, worry, and rethink is something that seriously drains your energy and resources and is a huge time suck. And what happens is you completely forget about or disassociate from an important task or something you should follow through on. And it's something that you probably already identified you need to do, but you completely forget about it. And this is different than procrastination. And then it's not something that you're it's not something that you're aware of. It's something that you made a plan and you just once again, it was something that was causing you anxiety, triggering anxiety for you. One example of this, was one of my clients who she was getting so overwhelmed by emails. She's a dietitian, and she was getting so overwhelmed by emails and pitches to her business email. And the reason for that is that she does a lot of media stuff. She does a lot of blogging. She writes for Forbes. She was working on getting her first book deal, and she was just getting so overwhelmed. She couldn't work on the book deal because she was just, overwhelmed by all these emails for people pitching her and needing stuff from her. And what we did was create a plan for her to actually write and set up an automatic email, right? Set up an autoresponder with some directions for people, and not check her email 24 hours a day, right? Check it at certain times and write back to people during those times, rather than constantly feeling like you need to respond to people instantly. And at least the autoresponder would set it up so that way she didn't have to respond, to everything automatically. But what happened was she completely forgot about it. And it was anxiety for her that triggered that around setting that boundary. So 2 months later, when we were talking, she talked about the same issue. And, again, it was I felt so bad because she had completely forgotten that we had created a plan about it, because it was just such an anxious situation. She blocks it out. So it's you have to think about it again and again and again, and it keeps coming up for you, and it gets you stuck in an endless repeating loop. So just as a section recap, and I would absolutely love for you guys to put in the chat which of these sabotages you may be experiencing right now or have experienced in the past. I would love for you to drop it into the chat and let us know. And, notice how these show up in your business and life and limit your business growth, right? So who here has suffered from procrastination? You could just say, I have, or procrastination or whatever. Drop the name in the chat below. Because I think like we've all, once again, experienced these, and it's nice to see that other people have experienced them for yourself, right? Somebody even said top 3, and I can tell you that I've experienced all of these. And I think, again, procrastination is probably the overcoming one right now. Then there's shiny object syndrome again, which is constantly trying something new, and looking for that magic bullet as if there's one thing that is going to save you. And then there's imposter syndrome, which is when you don't feel good enough or likable enough or smart enough to be reaching your goals. And then rethink, which is where you completely block out an important task you were supposed to follow through on and keep going through it over and over again. Okay. The good news is, though, now we're going to cover the strategies that help you get through this. So these are the strategies that help you increase productivity and business growth. These help you be more productive. So once again, you can reach your goals and achieve that business growth, which for many of you means increasing your income. And maybe it means building a team. Maybe it means, adding new income streams into your business, like courses or group programs or speaking, things that are really going to allow you to double or triple your income or add, thousands of dollars to it with, again, not being stuck with all those one-to-one clients, and giving you that income security we're all looking for right now. So the strategies that we're going to cover are clear goal setting, a structured schedule, and the RSO system, which I've developed to help my clients, which is remove, systematize, and outsource. So clear goal setting is breaking down your goal using the consistent income generator process. And the consistent income generator process, which I'll go into more detail, is a strategy that I developed, a process, a system that allows you to plan out your income for the year. It allows you to pre-plan your income for the year, break it down into manageable chunks, and allow you to really identify what you need to be working on when, so you're not getting overwhelmed and you're not trying to do multiple things and multiple goals at one time, which just spreads you too thin. Like if you're working on, 5 goals at one time, or trying to think about your big goal, you're only able to give those 5 things 20% each of your time approximately, right? Whereas if you're working on one thing, you can give it 100% and really move towards it more quickly, accomplish it more quickly, and then move on to the next thing. So the consistent income generator process, I love it. Gives you a clear picture of your big goal for the year, your big income goal for the year. And it allows you to break down your income goal into measurable chunks, okay? And it puts the focus on one income stream at a time so that there are no distractions and you know what business actions to focus on. For example, if you're trying to reach $80,000 in income and you want to do it multiple ways, you can really break down what you need to sell and where you can put that into the year so that it can happen, right? So for example, you might be looking to fill 10 clients at $5,000, right? Which is $50,000. And I love that because that's about an average, right? So if you have a $5,000 package or if clients stay with you on long enough for you to, make $5,000 on average for each client, then you only need 10 clients. That means that you can, break that into 2 separate launches, like 5 clients at the first part of the year, 5 clients at the middle part of the year, or maybe you'll just work for 10 clients for, 3 months or 6 months, however long your package is, it doesn't matter. And and you can focus going really heavy into your processes for getting, the 10 clients. And then you could switch over to filling a group program, and you could do the pre-work for filling a group program, which usually involves building your list, building your audience, talking to more people, maybe doing some webinars and things like that for list growth and sales. And you can really then focus in on that income chunk. And then if you're planning a course after that, or wherever in the process you're focused on the course. And here's the thing, you really want to focus on, once again, that income chunk at a time. So you're focusing on the $50,000, or you're focusing on that $20,000. And that's where you, once again, really get clear on what actions you need to take when in your business. And this is really helpful right now, because again, we may have had to readjust our income plans. We may have had to do things like that. And, this allows you to, this is the perfect time, we're in the second half of the year, to really plan out, like, how much do you need to make over these 6 months? What are you going to do to make that income, and really go heavy for it? And the thing is, when you're filling one income stream, like when I'm filling group programs and my masterminds and things like that, I have one-to-one clients come into the mix. But, it's good because I'm not trying to focus on both. I'm not overwhelming my audience, right? Because if you're trying to sell all 3 of these things at once, you may overwhelm your audience. They may not be certain what they should be working on you with, what they should be buying, and they may end up, buying nothing because they're confused about your different programs and packages. So once again, this allows you to pre-plan what income chunk you're working on. You can choose it, and then you create a weekly action plan that aligns with your monthly goal. So for example, if you're filling your one-to-one client spots, you may give yourself 2 months to fill them, depending on how many, you can look at how long it takes you to sell one-to-one client spots. If you can sell 5 spots in 1 month, awesome. Go heavy on it for 2 months, fill those 10 spots. And then you're creating that weekly action plan. Your goal for the month is to fill 5 one-to-one client spots. And you can identify 3 to 5 actions each week that are correlated with your goal. These are the primary actions that you should be focused on. Remember, we talked about that overwhelming to-do list. These actions need to be at the top. These need to be the ones that are connected to your goal. And these actions are not like, reach out to 3 people. It's usually like one action is reach out to 10 people and let them know, invite them to work with me, reach out to 5 old clients and ask for referrals, things like that, right? You're going to kind of bulk it up, and you want to be consistent. Again, it's not about doing all these different things, right? It's not about, showing up on Facebook every day and showing up on Instagram every day multiple times and checking your Instagram a million times a day. It's about just really focusing on the bigger actions, usually the scarier ones. I'm going to be honest, the ones that are outside of our comfort zone. And those are the ones that usually, of course, bring us the best results. So again, this is why you have to be consistent, because those actions will get easier for you and they will bring in more clients. So you're really focused on one thing at a time during that month. You're not going to be focused on, selling a course and selling one-to-one clients at the same time. And then we're going to move on to the structured schedule, and we're going to cover a master schedule, batching, and the Pomodoro Method. So the master schedule is a system that allows you to plan out your week in advance. You have everything written down and you're consistent day to day. It could include outside work activities as well. So, have the schedule, right? Have the schedule from whatever, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. or whatever. And put in like those morning activities like breakfast, which is important, and, working out, or family time, or, TV time with your partner at the end of the day, right? But also have your client times booked out. Be consistent with your client days. Like, I'm consistent with my client days. I see clients on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I leave the other days open for different tasks, right? Like on Wednesday, it's really getting through my to-do list and admin tasks, and I have a talk with my team that day. Fridays, I leave like a little bit more open for just catching up on stuff earlier in the week. Mondays is more of my outreach and pitching and working on my visibility strategies. And you want to really block things off. hour by hour, right? So you want to, maybe every Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., you're going through your emails. And then from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. you're scheduling out your social media for the week. And from, 11 to 1, you are checking in with referrals and reaching out to new people to build that network, because you need new referrals, you need new relationships. And that's what you do every Monday at those times. And this just takes so much brain pressure, like brain stress and brain pressure off of you. It empties out your brain because you know what you're doing when. And you can keep doing this like over and over again each week, and you'll get into the habit. And I do say, like, if you don't have anything like this right now, if you don't work this way right now, don't try to maybe add in the full week at once, unless you're that person that can adapt to things overnight. I am not that person that can adapt to things overnight quickly. So for me, it was about starting off with one day and then adding in another day and then adding in, a third day to do this consistently over time, rather than trying to again do a complete 180 and make everything different overnight, right? So this is just a really helpful way to do things. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is batching. And I'm wondering, I'd love to know if you guys know what batching is. And if you already do it, feel free to let us know in the comments. And that's when you focus at one task at a time, no more multitasking, right? Multitasking eats up your energy. Multitasking, again, if you're doing 10 things at once, if you're scrolling through Facebook, if you're checking your email, if you're on Instagram, if you're trying to write a blog or an email to your list, all at the same time, you're not going to be giving 100% to a task. And it really is, you guys know, you are health professionals, you know what it does to your brain, you know how long it takes to readjust back to tasks, right? And some examples of tasks that you can batch include clients, right? Like I said, putting my clients on certain days during certain hours. I like to go from client to client, and this may differ for you a little bit, right? Like I like to have my clients all in 2 days. You may want to have your clients between 9 and 12, 5 days a week. Like you get to choose what are your best hours for certain things. One of my clients makes sure she doesn't do any night clients because she's not her best in evening hours. Then there's like the admin tasks, right? Then there's billing, bookkeeping, things like that, blogging, video creation. Now, this is when you do something repeatedly over, like I said, an hour or two, like we were talking about in the master schedule. This complements the master schedule because you automatically put the time for each of these categories of tasks into the schedule, and they repeat every week. And this is amazing because, once again, when you get in your writing brain and you're blogging, you can come up with a couple blogs at one time, right? And then you can create all the images for the blogs. You can schedule them into your website all at the same time, right? That way you're not switching from task to task to task. Video creation, this is one of my favorite things to batch because, first of all, let's be honest, a lot of times we make ourselves look a little nicer for videos. We may put on our makeup. We may have, outfits that we like to wear for videos. Truthfully, I prefer to wear the same outfit or similar outfit in all my videos. I don't care about changing outfits, so it's not like I need to do it on different days. Or I have some clients who like to change their outfits and line them up and just switch their shirts or jewelry or whatever in between videos. But, when you get in that mood, when you get your setup, if you have lighting, if you have a special camera you put on, you're ready to go and you're ready to create that video, and you won't want to have to keep setting that up and doing a video like once a week. You can easily get, short videos done, a few over an hour, and you're just doing it again and again and again. And then the last one we're going to talk about in terms of, the time, the scheduling, is the Pomodoro Method. Who here, has anyone heard of the Pomodoro Method? I would love to know. I know a lot of, sometimes people have heard of it, sometimes they haven't. This is another one that my clients love. They're like, this has changed my life. And I'm going to be honest, when I do the Pomodoro Method, it has changed my business and life, but sometimes I fall off track with it again. And this is a time management technique where you use a timer, and you do a 25-minute work session, and then you take a 5-minute break. And this is perfect because you spend the 25 minutes on one task, right? So you spend the 25 minutes working on your blog, and then you take that 5-minute break. And I love this. This is one thing that totally keeps me focused, right? Because when I have that timer going, there's just something about it where, I'm sitting there, I'm writing something, or I'm doing outreach, I'm pitching myself for podcasts or blogs or something, guest blogs, things like that. And there's just something about it where I'm doing it and I will automatically go to check my email or go to check Facebook, and I literally pull my hand back because I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to get as much done as this during these 25 minutes and see how it goes, right? And it is about quality of work, not quantity, but it improves the quality of your work and the quantity of it. And then what happens is you do 4 rounds, and then you take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes and then repeat, right? And this complements batching because, again, you can easily focus on just one task for that 4 rounds and really get through a lot of things. I see some chat comments about if you use it or not. Yeah, it could be difficult. Some people try using it. One of the things you could do, first of all, you could use your phone timer, but if you Google Pomodoro, you could actually find apps for it on your phone and stuff like that you can use. This is another thing for those of you who said it, it's difficult and stuff like that. And I do agree with you, in the beginning it's hard. You will adjust over time and you will get better at this. You will adapt to it. So I would say you just try to stick with it. Again, you don't need to try to do it for 8 hours straight. Just try it for the one thing of 4 rounds, right? Try for one thing of 4 rounds straight, once per day, and see how it starts to shift things for you. Again, like I've had clients who it was hard at first because it is a new strategy. It's something we're not necessarily used to. So many of us as business owners are juggling a lot of different tasks, and it just gets easier over time with the Pomodoro Method. And you can also use something, I think it's called focus time, where you can actually, one of my friends uses this, you can actually choose to block certain websites for a certain amount of time. So if you're starting Pomodoro Method, again, for 4 rounds, you can actually, use the focus time, block Facebook, block your email, whatever you need to block so you can't even actually check it during that time. Another thing that's great to do is to put your phone into airplane mode so you're not getting like messages, turn off notifications, things like that. It really does work. Okay, so now let's cover the RSO system. Here's the deal. Time is money, right? Let's be honest. Like, the more time we waste, the more money we lose, and the more time we waste, the more energy we leak as well, and we feel frustrated and tired and things like that. And the RSO system is designed to help you assess time leaks, right? The time leaks are tasks that drain you and don't lead to income growth. They may look like, again, like I know I'm bringing this up a lot, but when my clients do a time assessment, one of the pre-tasks to do before the RSO system is to actually time yourself all week. So for a solid week, like keep track of how much time you go on every task, and you restart every time you switch to a task. So if you're with a client, you would, obviously time the client sessions and write clients down so you see how much time you spend on clients. If you're doing client management with emails, right, you could actually write client emails down and do that. If you're doing billing, like keep track of that. But if during those tasks, if at any time you switch over to check your text messages or you switch over to check your emails, you have to then write that down, right? So you're keeping track of all those little things. One of my clients, actually, she ran a group practice. So one of the things that was a huge time leak for her was that she she believed in an open door policy, which is great. The intention is great, right? That people could stop by anytime throughout the day. But what happened is she was literally losing 60 to 90 minutes in that day with the 5 minutes here, the 10 minutes here, the 15 minutes here. And she was shocked because, by the end of the week, that was, if that's 2 to 3 hours, if your fee is $150 and you could be seeing, an hour and you could be seeing a client during the time, that's easily, $300 a week that you're losing, and multiply that, and that's $1,200 a month you're losing. So it was better for her to set up that hour where people could stop by, and not get so distracted, and limit it. So what you want to do again is really kind of do that time assessment for a week, and then really identify the 10 to 20 activities that take up the most time in your business each week. And what you want to first do is you're going to have this list of tasks, right? Bookkeeping, billing, client emails, working on your website, setting up landing pages, whatever it is, right? And what you first want to do is remove tasks that aren't enjoyable and aren't helping you build your business or make money, right? And a lot of times it's hard to do this. We just need to give ourselves permission, because once again, we're looking at what other people are doing. We have shiny object syndrome. We feel like we need to try everything and then keep it up. So these might be tasks like posting on social media platforms, which actually don't work to get you clients, or you don't even enjoy, or yes, like if you don't enjoy Instagram, I'm giving you permission to cancel it. If you don't enjoy Facebook groups, I'm giving you permission to remove it, right? It may include activities like over checking your email, doing too much research, or Googling on your business, and more. And once again, these are things that you absolutely just get rid of. You cut them out, right? There's no need to be doing them or managing them, because they are losing time and money for you. And I would love to know too, for you all who are on, just reading this, can you think of one task that you should be removing from your business each week right now that is, again, taking up a lot of time potentially, and, is something that you don't need to be doing. If you have any ideas on tasks, definitely share that, because I know it's a great way to brainstorm with others and see what others are getting rid of. You may not even realize what it is. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat real quick. Billing, yes. Writing blogs, but you understand it's needed. Well, Marsha, what I would say about that is, are the blogs bringing you in clients? Because I have to tell you, I've literally gone like a year without publishing a new blog, and it hasn't hurt me from bringing in clients. But I would say if clients are, again, something that is coming through your blogs, then again, that's not really something, then it's not something that's bringing in money, and it's okay for you to remove. Yes, email, feeling like you need to be on social media platforms, social media creation. So Marsha, if again, I think really assess and ask your clients and see if people check the stats. You may just not need to, or maybe you could try videos or something, or spend more time on social media and do it that way. Billing insurance companies, yes, necessary, but a learning curve and taking up time for sure. You got to collect that money. Again, give yourself permission to remove some of these tasks. Then there is Systematize. I love this, because Systematize tasks, you systemize tasks that are repeatable and can be automated or batched using the batching system. So again, billing, right? I have had clients who got so far behind on billing, and what they ended up doing is, putting aside, Fridays was actually a great time for this, putting aside an hour and a half every Friday and just doing their billing and invoicing then, right? Rather than trying to do it every day and log into the system and mess around with it. Another one is writing content, right? Like you could write a few blogs at one time. And you could have the whole process mapped out too, right? Like write the blog, choose the title, create the picture, upload into your website platform, things like that. Scheduling social media posts. That's something that could be systematized, because you can, again, create 10 posts at once, or 20, or for the whole month, whatever you want to do. And you can put them in a scheduler. They have schedulers. They have Buffer, Hootsuite, Social Pilot, things like that. And if you're spending, an hour or two per week trying to schedule these and get them in, then you're losing, again, if a client is $100 for you an hour or whatever, you're losing, a couple $100 a week. Whereas, again, you could sign up for one of these programs, pay $25 a month for it and get them all in, and they're automatically going off. They're also keeping you visible. You're not being inconsistent, which is going to bring in more clients. Then there's client onboarding. This is where a system like Healthie comes into place and is absolutely amazing, because you can set up your processes, you could set up your paperwork, and you have the same thing all the time for clients. There's one portal that manages it all. So that's systematizing it, right? You do the billing and the invoicing in there. So that is a Systematize. That's a tool that you can use that makes it easier and just gets you that process. So again, these are tasks that are systematized, that you are repeating and can be automated or batched. And once again, I would love for you to drop in the chat either a task that you're already systematizing, let us know, something that you're doing, maybe you use Healthie already and it just helps you with the client onboarding and client management processes, or something that you need to systematize that you haven't yet and you're going to work on systematizing it next. And this is something, this RSO system, you want to use it like every quarter. You want to really reassess every single quarter, what's going on, what business tasks are happening, and what's changed, because your business is growing and shifting, and things that you could do before, you might not be able to do now, or things that, were easy, were not a big deal in the beginning. Like maybe you didn't need that client onboarding system, but suddenly you have, 5 clients and it's like, this is ridiculous. I can't be sending out everything separately. That's really a good thing to check out. Yeah, Marcia says Healthie has really helped. It's amazing. Creating social media content for 4 to 5 weeks. I love that, key, and that's amazing. If you're like being able to do that at one time and just take that pressure off. And then again, you're not writing a post here, you're not writing a post there, you're not skipping days because you're like, I can't think of anything today. You're in that mindset, you're batching that out, and you're just doing it so great. Okay, now we're going to talk about outsource. Who doesn't love to outsource, or who wants to outsource more, right? The way to get started with outsourcing is, once again, when you're hiring someone else to do something, right? You're taking it off your plate. So you can outsource tasks that are more affordable for someone else to do and are not reliant on you, right? It's a lot quicker and it's a money saver for others to do it, so you can focus on marketing and managing income streams. Again, like this can give you this, if you are doing tasks, just for an example, bookkeeping, right? I used to do my bookkeeping and it was so stressful and it ate up hours of my month. And then I finally upgraded to a bookkeeping team last year, and it's amazing. I don't have to think about it. It takes me like 10 minutes a month to review what they did. This has opened up hours for me to, again, be getting more visible, be getting more clients, or to be working on, more passive income streams that allow me to make more money. And again, like it's a trade-off to pay that fee, which doesn't eat up my time. And honestly, it also saves me money in the sense that they're better at bookkeeping than me. They can keep an eye on expenses and make sure I don't miss out on any, that kind of thing. Now, there are obviously things that you have to do in your business that you can't outsource, right? You can't outsource your client sessions, but you can outsource things like graphic design, website tweaks, billing for people who said they don't like creating the social media content. You can hire someone to create a bunch of images for you, or even create templates that are easy for you to just pop your information, your helpful tips into it. There's so much you can outsource. I know I just got started I think I got started when I started outsourcing stuff to a VA with 5 hours a month. It's not like you suddenly have to hire like a full-time employee. I think that's important. I think that you really don't I think we think it's like extreme. We have to go from one thing. You could outsource just one project, right? You could outsource your website, or you can hire that person who does things repeatedly for you. I've had the same VA project manager for I think three years now, and it's awesome because she just does a lot of stuff for me. She even does things like designs slide templates for me and stuff like that. Just makes my life easier for things that one would take me a long time to do. She creates all my like landing pages and stuff like that, things that I'm not good at and don't want to learn. Again, if you're making $100 an hour for a client and you're spending like 5 hours a week on setting up one freebie or whatever, which happens for people, hire someone to train you for a couple hours, hire someone to do it, and it's just so much easier. Another thing is think about what kind of personal tasks you can outsource that save your time. Food delivery is a big one right now, right? A cleaning person is a big one. If it takes you a few hours to clean each week, you could hire a cleaning person once a month, 2 times a month, whatever. Again, that's one of my favorite things to outsource. I just get a cleaning person once a month, saves me a few hours, and then I just have to maintain it and I'm not having to do that like deep cleaning. That was one of the first things I outsourced and it changed my life. So outsourcing can just be really, really amazing. Someone says they have a VA for 5 hours a month and it is great. Yeah, it really is. Just get it. And honestly, when somebody is good at tasks that you're not as good at or just don't make sense for you to do, they get through them so much quicker, right? Like they can do more than you can do in the same amount of time. So just a section recap, the 3 strategies to increase productivity and business growth are clear goal setting using the consistent income generator process, and then a structured master schedule with batching and Pomodoro Method worked into it, and the RSO system so you can remove, systematize, and outsource the tasks in your business that allow you to increase your time and profits. And right now, you guys, like I said, our time has shifted. We have different responsibilities and things we're doing, right? So if you've never done any of these before, now is the time to try them out. And you don't have to do all of these at once. Just if you pick 1 or 2 strategies from today, it's going to make a world of difference for you. So if you guys have any questions, you can submit them in the question box or comments. Also, I have a consistent income generator toolkit for you. It's a sheet that with a chart that walks you through how to use it. And I also have a Batch Like a Boss cheat sheet for you. You can go get access to them at NicoleLiloia.com/library. The Batch Like a Boss cheat sheet has actually 20 tasks that you can batch in your business, so you don't have to think about it or brainstorm them. Okay, I know someone asked, can you recommend a bookkeeper? Yes, I actually use bench.co, I believe it's .co, and they're just a program. And what's great about them that I love, and again, this is like an outsourcing, saving money kind of thing, is they actually have their own tax like software, which you use automatically when you hire them. So you don't have to also pay for QuickBooks too. So again, it's like outsourcing 2 things in one spot. Yeah, QuickBooks is great if you're doing your own, but if you are looking to hire someone, I do like that one. How do you choose what the VA does for you? So I really recommend, just like I said, going through the time tracking, seeing the things that take up the most time in your week or month, and seeing if that's something that you don't have to be responsible for. Seeing if that is something that you can hand off to someone else, right? If, like I said, creating social media images, it's not something you have to create, right? You can hand it off to someone and then just approve them. Scheduling your blogs and stuff like that, you may have to write the blog. And I know someone said writing blogs was a big thing. Maybe if you even are just getting someone to create the image and edit it for you and post it, upload it for you into the website, that might be a huge thing. That is a huge time saver. I'm going to type it into the chat, Susan, because I believe it's bench.co. If bench.com doesn't work, it's bench.co. So that's what I would say about the VA, VA tasks is definitely going through that process. It could be a social media virtual assistant, or it could be just a virtual assistant who does all kinds of tech tasks. My virtual assistant project manager does everything. So she does all kinds of tasks. So I would recommend, just depending, again, like looking at that task, going through the list of which ones you've done using that RSO system, right? And just really saying like, what could be systematized? Sometimes there's softwares like somebody mentioned QuickBooks or like Healthie that systematize things for you, so you don't have to hire someone, or sometimes you just need to hire someone to get things off your plate. Bench.co, thank you. No, my VA is not from bench.co. That's just bookkeeping. My VA, what I recommend to find a VA is there's a few different things. You can use something like upwork.com and look for people who do VA tasks or do specialized tasks. They have all kinds of categories on there. Or you can actually have your, like, ask friends who they recommend, ask your peers who they recommend. Or you can ask if you're in Facebook groups with other business owners, ask for recommendations. I do recommend talking to a few at the same time, right? Like definitely interviewing a few people, getting a good feel for it. The other thing you can do that I did recently when I was hiring another admin for my team is I created a job description. And then I posted that, in Facebook groups where it was allowed. I shared it with my friends, asked them to share it. I put it on my social media channels, and I got a ton of applicants. And then from there, I read their applications and then decided which ones I wanted to talk to. So my VA does have access to my accounts. If you do obviously have, protected health information, you do want them to sign a business associate agreement. Oh, that's awesome. So Healthie, a VA can be added as a support account, and then you could control their permissions. But if they do have access to private client information, you want to make sure that you're having your VA sign some kind of contract, an NDA, where they don't share things. So you just want to be careful with that. Sherry, let me check your question real quick. I actually can't pull up the Q&A. Can you, Stephanie, check in and let me know what the question?
Yeah, Sharon had a really great question. It was, let me see. She was saying, I would love to see a link we can send our clients to send reviews where we can post on our websites. Is that a possibility? So I guess collecting testimonials.
Yeah, that's a great thing to systematize. I love that question, because I actually have that systematized, right? Where after a client wraps up, I send them an email. It lets them know if there's other ways to work with me. It lets them know I'm going to be in contact, checking in with them. It's an email template. So you can do that. And then it has like the questions that I ask everyone. I ask them if they're okay giving me a testimonial, and I give them questions as a prompt. So it just gives them ideas for what they can actually ask and answer.
Hey, Nicole, I have a little thing to add there. As a lot of people familiar with Healthie, I work with Healthie, but I also have a private practice. And what I did was I created a form in Healthie. And then when a client wraps up, I share it. And it's just a testimonial form. So it just collects their permit. They check off if they give permission. They can write in a quote, and they tell me how they want to be cited, and they can select from that. So it really automates that process, and then I have it on file, so I can then use that review on my website or marketing materials.
That's great. I love that. And Kate says she does that too, so that's really, really good to know.
If anyone's a Healthie provider, you can email me. It's I'll put my email in the chat box. I can share that form with you. So if you want it, it'll just then be a copy in your account, and then you can edit it and use it within your account directly.
Look, you
All
guys
right,
are
so
cool to systematize.
we're sharing forms and paperwork.
Yes, exactly. Why create things from scratch? I love it. Did I miss anybody's questions? If you have anything else.
There's one more question from Keegan. This is a really good one. She wants to know any tips or pearls for integrating information and suggestions when you're in a full-time position and trying to grow your business on the side.
Yeah, I think for sure outsourcing some things is really important. Like I hired somebody to do my website and do some copywriting for me in the beginning. You don't have to outsource everything, but really think about what's going to move you forward in the business, and think about what tasks you can get rid of, to someone else, and what tasks you can focus on. Because again, in the beginning, you're going to need to focus on relationship building and getting clients and sales. So the marketing sales is probably going to be you. In the beginning, you're not going to be able to outsource those. So just really starting to get some of that other stuff in place is really helpful. And again, I would use the master schedule and the batching in Pomodoro for the hours that you're outside. Like really check off, like you have 5 hours, right? If you have 5 hours a week to work on the business, even if they switch, at least know how many hours you need to put in, even if they're on different days each week, and really break down that 5 hours into what you need to focus on during that time.
Super helpful. I think that's all the questions in our Q&A, Nicole. Unless anything else pops up in chat, but that was super awesome. It was actually really funny. During this, I forgot to turn off my notifications, and I got a notification from my calendar that blocked off time, and I call it content time. And I blocked off, a couple hours later in the day. So everything that you have said has so resonated and has been so helpful for me, just my productivity. And
I'm so glad.
Yeah, and learned so much more today. I feel like this is one of those things you can always do a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
It gets away from you sometimes.
Absolutely. And you guys, please go over and sign up for those resources at NicoleLiloia.com/library, because some of these are going to be repeatable for you that I've already created. You don't have to create them from scratch, like the batching and the things like that. Just extra help for you to have it all in place.
I think we need all the help we can get.
Everything to make it easier, especially right now.
Nicole, can you post that link in the chat?
There we go.
Perfect. And just a reminder, everyone, I know you're dropping off, but we are going to send out this email afterwards a little later with the recording. And if you do need anything, you can email Nicole. There's her email address. Write it down. And you can also email me if you have any questions about the form I mentioned, or questions about Healthie. And that's in the chat as well. It's Stephanie@gethealthy.com. Cool. All right, Nicole, thank you so much for joining us today. This is a super helpful webinar. I'm sure everybody's going to go and be super productive this afternoon.
Yeah, I would love you guys. Please feel free to reach out to me via email or find me on Instagram at Nicole Liloia, and let me know one of the things that you're going to do. If you need a little accountability, I'll respond to you. Let me know one of the things you're going to try from today. I'm happy to support you.
Great. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye.